Okay, so let's move on. Almost Famous. So you've got another Billy Crudup thing here, which is kind of interesting. We just mentioned him. So obviously
he's in there 3 times actually, because Jesus's son is Billy Crudup. I
right.
really like Billy Crudup. Yeah.
So I guess the first question I would have about this one, and obviously it's the Tiny Dancer. I think a lot of people would acknowledge that that probably is the strongest song in the movie.
Yeah.
There's many other good songs in it. Were you a fan of Tiny Dancer before?
I was already a huge fan of it, and
okay.
And that goes back to 2 things. It goes back to high school. That was the first Elton John album I owned, and I loved Tiny Dancer even more than I like Leave On a lot too. And I think it's in Aloha Bobby and Rose too.
Well, I was going to get into that because that's your next choice. So it's another one of those neat.
Yeah, wow, I hadn't even thought about that back to back. Wow. Yeah, and I'm not even sure. That is a great scene in Almost Famous, but there are a couple. I love the scene where he flips through his sister's record collection. And is it Simon and Garfunkel that are playing?
I think, yeah, America, I think.
America.
I think it's the opening scene or something.
Yeah, and then it switches, and then I think it goes into a part of Tommy.
That's right.
That's a great scene. And there's a couple of 1 or 2 Led Zeppelin songs that are used really well in that. By the way, do you remember the Bernie Sanders ad with America from 2016? I think that's probably my favorite political ad ever.
Really?
I think to feel that way, you have to love the song as much as I do. I love that song.
Did you ever have any thought of including something like that into the book, or?
What's that? A political
the ad?
No. I think that it
just too far away from what you're doing.
Yeah. Now, if I ever do end up switching to America, I would mention the Bernie Sanders ad. And I'm sure you could still. I'm sure it's still online.
I'm sure it's online. Yeah, I'll check it out. I did like it at the time, but I just honestly don't recall it that well.
So yeah, it's a great scene. It's just I think it's the morning after they just have a disastrous.
Yeah.
That's where he jumps off. He's flying on acid, right?
Thinking he's Jesus or something.
Yeah. And everybody hates each other in the band, and
and he's got this look on his face in the bus, like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing with my life, or something like that.
And that's you know what? I have to mention this. I got to get this in. One of the things that makes that so great is it ends with him saying to Kate Hudson, "I need to get home," and she says, "You are home." And the one thing I'll mention when I add more to the comment, and it's not my view, but I think it's a legitimate view, and I think it's the point that Marcus made. The film, or Cameron Crowe himself, kind of helped create the thing that the film criticizes, right? Which is fawning coverage of pop stars.
Yeah.
That's what Marcus said, right? And I don't doubt that for a second, because he used to do all those profiles, and I mean, I'm sure he looked away from a lot of horrible stuff.
Yeah.
And Rolling Stone was such a success because they had record company money. So I think ultimately what he wrote, he probably had to please the record companies. I mean, Marcus just matter-of-factly said, I mean, that's the stupid thing about the film. Cameron Crowe did more to move that along than anybody. Doesn't bother me. I could see where it would bother Marcus, because he was on the same magazine as Cameron Crowe. How do you feel about that film?
I've always liked it. Never maybe totally over the top, although it is a movie that reminds me a little bit of School of Rock, which I think is also on your list further down, in that it sort of plays better every time I see it, actually. Like, I seem to feel I feel more warm towards it every time I see it. The first time, I think I was a little bit middling myself, and maybe just something about it seemed, I don't want to say obvious or something, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It was just,
No,
it
I
was
know what you
almost
mean.
like an instant appeal that maybe I didn't totally trust or something. But then the more I've seen it, I thought, no, it really is. There's a lot of appealing elements in the movie. I like quite a few of the performances. Overall, I do like most of the music in the movie, although I can't remember a lot of it actually. Like there's a lot of songs in it.
Well, even the Stillwater songs, I mean, they're not bad, right? As a version of the 1970s.
Yeah, yeah.